Oh, good morning, family. Shalom. I see a few of you are already in the chat. Sister Juanita, Sister Yvonne, Sister Catherine. Shalom. And give everybody a few minutes to climb into the chat. I want to say peace to all of you who are tuning in, but you can't chat because you on the plantation. Peace to you. I hope you all have been having a fantastic week so far. All praises. I know I have. I was able to get on here early this morning, family, because I took some PTO time off. It began yesterday, and it was much needed. Mama, good morning and shalom. Sometimes, family, you just have to get away. Sometimes just taking a break from the routine, doing the usual. I was able to get up this morning and make me some breakfast and do some laundry. And I tell you what, family, there are so many people out here struggling in this country. Even the heathens, they on the struggle bus. Now, you know, us Israelites, as a people, we're not, strangers to the everyday struggle because we live in a system in this wicked system that's against us. So we new to it, we true to it. But I tell you what, you better have an attitude of gratitude if the Most High is keeping you. First of all, just to be above ground is a blessing. Shalom, brother, show you. If you got a place to live, to stay, you better thank God. There are some people they got evicted from their homes, evicted from their apartments, and they living in extended stay hotels, trying to find somewhere to live. Some people had to move into their car, living out their car, living in tents. Sister Shakitha, Brother Avant, Sister Sabrina, Shalom. So be grateful. Somebody always got it worse off than you. Because sometimes, family, when we suffer, we go through trials, we think we just going through the worst thing ever. But there's somebody that wish they was you right now. Sister Crystal, Sister Erica, and Brother Avant, say shalom to Sister Brittany for me. Sister Salika, good morning. Love, faith, and hope, good morning. Better thank the Lord if you ain't have to go stand in line to get a room at a homeless shelter. You able to pay all your bills, you better thank the Lord, because there are some people that you'll be amazed what they having to go without or what they having to do just to eat. If you able to order out, I know a lot of people today like to order Uber Eats, you better thank God that there's somebody right now digging out a trash can, digging out a dumpster to eat. You got clothes and shoes, you better thank the Lord. Because it's bad out here, family. The Lord is taking care of you and yours. You better be grateful. Sister Judy, shalom. You better thank the Lord too if you got good health. I had just seen the other day where I don't know if y'all heard about it, the former NFL player. I think his name Chris Johnson. I used to watch him some years ago. He came out publicly on Good Morning America and he told everybody that he got diagnosed with ALS and that he was just given a few months to live. The doctor told him and his family to get your affairs in order. Now we know man don't have the final say over our life. We know that God do. But that should show you, family, we take a lot for granted. If you're able to move your hands, you can feel the strength in your body. You didn't need assistance to get up this morning. Walking on your own strength, you can talk, you can speak, think, taste, touch, smell, feel. You better thank the Lord. Your digestive system is working properly. Sister Humble Maiden, Sister Bernadette, Brother Leslie, shalom. If you don't depend on medicine to keep you going every day, you better thank God. If you got a job, you better thank God. It may not be the job of your dreams, but honey, there's people out here looking. They looking everywhere, applying everywhere. They can't find a job. They looking for anything. Even if it's outside their area of expertise, they looking. They going to McDonald's, they going to Denny's, applying, ain't hearing nothing right, being told no. Some of them will take your job right now that you might be complaining about, if that means feeding them and their family. Don't allow yourself to get into the habit of complaining. But always thank God. Because we always complaining about what we don't have, what we wish we had. Sister Susanna, good morning. I told the Lord I even thank him for when he allowed it to rain. Because it's been hot down here in Florida. And if we don't get no rain, that means, fires could break out. You won't have no water to grow your crops. You won't have no water to drink. Cause I be hearing people complain, it's raining again. I be telling Lord, don't listen to that foolishness. Thank you. Don't listen to their ignorance, Lord. Thank you for sending the rain. I thank you for the sun too. And in under the gospel of Christ, this is what we learn. Christ teaches us to be content with the good, with the bad, with the in between, with the ups, with the downs. And whatever you need, family, you ask the Lord. Pray, always pray for yourself, for your family, the people of Israel, and the state of this world, especially this country. It's chaos, it's madness. So, but I don't want to go off too far into that. I just wanted to put something on y'all mind this morning. Sister Naja, good morning. We're just talking. And make sure, family, if you can, be saving your money. Make sure you save your money. Get out of debt if you can. I know it's been hard for, a lot of people. But if you can, save. If you can only save 10 cents, 15, a dollar a week, 5, save something. Sister Betty, shalom. Because a lot of people are finding out the hard way. They thought they was going to be able to depend on the government. God tells you don't depend on no man. But that's what men do. Especially these heathens. They believe that their brothers, their rich brothers, was always going to look out for them. But they have betrayed them. And you know they don't take care of theirs. They definitely ain't going to take care of our black behind. And we been knew that as a people. But most Israelites that I know of, not all, but most of them, they good about saving their money because we already know this system ain't going to help us. And the most important thing, walk with the Most High every day. If you got to walk along with the Lord, that's just the way it's going to have to be. And that's even something to be thankful about. If you got the mind to serve the Lord, to even live for Him, to have His Spirit, that is a blessing because everybody ain't got it. Oh, I like that, Sister Judy. She said my grandma used to say, if you got a dime, save a nickel of it. That's right. Brother Michael Bell, shalom. And that's something, Brother Reggie Sr. used to teach you all. And he definitely taught, me and my brother, save your money. You cannot depend on this wicked system. As you can see, they do not care about you. All they doing is tightening the vice grip. That they got that vice grip on the neck of the people. The more the people cry out and say, hey man, the cost of living is too high, the more they tighten that vice grip. But the rich better understand at the end of the day, you're going to have to take an account before this God. Y'all don't let Satan deceive y'all with this money. In the end, you're going to stand before a mighty God, in the very mercy and compassion that you didn't show to the poor. You're going to be looking for it at the day of judgment, and you ain't going to get it. You going to get just what you gave the poor. Ruthlessness. You're going to be brought to ruin and destruction. God going to impoverish you overnight. That soul going to be impoverished. So make sure, family, if you are bringing money in, you doing the right thing with it, budgeting, and saving it. You never know what's going to happen. All right, family. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Once again, I want to say shalom to everybody on and off the chat. I'm going to pick it up where I left off. It's in Psalms chapter 18. Let me get the scriptures up here on the screen. I believe I left off with verse, I think it was 14. I think it was 14. So I'm going to start there. I want to try to finish this entire chapter today, but if I can't, I'll just have to finish it up because it's pretty long, 50 verses. So if I have to, I'll just finish it next week. But let me go ahead and get started. Yes, Sister Judy, that's right. She said, I'm also careful to help the poor and needy. That's right. Help the poor and needy, family, if you got it. Because the Lord said, whoever is generous and gives to the poor, he said, I will repay you. I will. I think what he said was, whoever lends to the Lord pities the poor, and the Lord will repay. And a lot of people don't know that's gospel. That is gospel. So if you got it, family, and it's in your power, give. We got a brother right now, Brother Kahan and his family, they're in need. And we put on Facebook a couple of days ago a link to his GoFundMe page because him and his family are in need of additional assistance. So if you all can, try to help. You gotta give everything you got. Hey, $5, a dollar, $10, 20. Let's help the brother and his family out so they don't go to the streets. And they got a daughter as well. And remember, the Lord will repay. He will repay you for your kindness. So that when your day comes and when you are in need, depending on what that need is, then the Lord will rescue you. He will remember when you gave to others when they were in need. And he will pull you up out of your trouble. That's how this thing works. That's why, a lot of people today are suffering because they don't help the poor and needy. And now that they are poor and in need, they won't help. And the Lord won't listen to them. He won't help them because he remembered when you had it, you didn't care. You actually insulted the poor. You told them you need to get up and go get a job. Always begging, always asking. They cry out, you in the car, you roll the window up. I don't want to hear that. They always around here with their hand out. Especially our people. Oh my goodness. My mama was telling me about um she was telling me about this one time where Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley, I guess they was walking somewhere and there was a brother, he was on the street homeless, and he asked them for just $5. And they said Michael Jordan said something to the fact, if he can ask me for $5, then he can go over there to McDonald's and go ask for an application so he can fill out and work there. They both worth millions. And then she said something about, I guess Charles Barkley said he live off that philosophy today. A bunch of sellouts. But baby, always know your time gonna come. And the Lord is gonna remember that. Okay, Psalms chapter 18 and verse 14. Now y'all remember last time, in the last lesson, David is crying out to the Lord. He's going through some trouble and asking for the Lord to save him. We know this is prophetic. This is speaking of Christ. And then we see where the Lord is responding to his cry. He's beginning to move. He's going to begin to move on his enemies. He's going to respond through his judgment. It says, he sent out his arrows and scattered them, and he shot out lightnings and discomfited them, meaning he defeated them, he overthrew them. And all of this that we're reading, family, is figurative language. It's just poetic imagery. Verse 15. Then the channels of water were seen, and the foundation of the world were discovered at thy rebuke, O Lord, at the blast of the breath of thy nostrils. That's just talking about how he foiled your enemy's plan. All of that evil they do against you in secret gonna be discovered. I was wondering who out here mowing. If y'all hear somebody out here mowing, it's our lawn man. So just know you can't do nothing in the dark and secret against God. He see you. Gonna reveal all your wicked plans. Gonna put you to shame publicly, openly, through his rebuke. Verse 16. He sent from above. He took me. He drew me out of many waters. In other words, he rescued me from my enemies. That he say is just like waters, cause what does waters do, family? It'll drown you. Drown you, and that's what your enemies try to do, try to drown you. But I want to look at this because he said, he sent from above, he took me, drew me out of many waters. Jonah chapter 1 and verse 17. Because again, all of this was prophetic. It was about Christ, his death, burial, and his resurrection. So we're going to go look at the prophet Jonah, who also was a shadow of Christ. He went through sort of a death, burial, and resurrection when he was swallowed up by this great fish. Let's look at it. Now the Lord had prepared, verse 17, a great fish to swallow up Jonah. And Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights, just like Jesus was in the tomb for 3 days and 3 nights. He had been swallowed up by death for a few days. So I'm going to go right next door, Jonah chapter 2, pick it up with verse 1 and read to verse 6. Then Jonah prayed unto the Lord his God out of the fish's belly, and said, I cried by reason of mine affliction unto the Lord, and he heard me. Out of the belly of hell cried I, and thou heardest my voice. And he calls the belly hell because it was sort of a grave. Sister Sharon, Kings and Queens, Sister Angela, and all who have joined the chat, shalom. Y'all bear with me. I'm trying to get warmed up into this thing. Because y'all remember back in Psalms chapter 18, he was talking about the sorrows of hell. And we know this hell is a grave. And we know the children of Israel, our hell is this fourth beast. Our hell is being in these countries that we've been scattered amongst our enemies. That's our hell. That's why Jesus said in Psalms, Ezekiel chapter 37, I will bring you up out of your graves or out of your hell, Israel. But we got to do what Jonah did. See, Jonah cried to God. He cried to Yahweh. He cried to Jehovah. He cried to Yah for help. And that's what our people have to do as a whole if we want to be delivered out of our belly of hell. Brother Warren, shalom. He says, and thou heardest my voice, for thou hast cast me into the deep. Now, who did this to Jonah, family? Y'all put it in the chat if you can. Who did this to Jonah? Because this is something that our people need to understand. They want to know how we get here in all of these nations we've been scattered dealing with these clear people. That's right, family. Sharon, love, faith, hope, Shakitha. That's right. The Most High did it. And that's something we need to understand. There's nothing going on this earth that the Most High is not the one that is behind it. He allows. He told you, is there evil in the city, and I, the Lord, have not done it? Meaning the Lord is the divine orchestrator of all everything we see taking place on this earth. That doesn't mean he make men do evil. I want to clear that up. That don't mean he tell men to go do evil. But God has planned everything out. Everything is going according to plan. And I tell you, family, once you, and I'm talking about you know this about God, you will live a peaceful life. You won't take in news or look at the news like everybody else do. Because you will understand my God is in full control. You can go to bed at night. You don't have to stay up all night tossing and turning. You don't have to be afraid when they say, oh, war breaking out. They bring you some bad news. And see, Jonah knew. Jonah said, Lord, you did this to me. Just like the Lord, he told you in Deuteronomy 28, Israel, I'm sending you into captivity. I put you into slavery because you did just like Jonah did. You disobeyed me. That's why you here. Your ancestors disobeyed me, and you as their children continue to do so. So I cast you off. He says, in the midst of the seas. And for us, family, this is this goes back, I was gonna say, to Revelation chapter 19, because remember he was talking about that woman that sit in the many waters. And it tells you how the waters is the peoples, is these nations. And so Israel, we are in the midst, or we are among these other nations that are our enemies. It says, and the floods compassed me about. Isn't Israel compassed by these floods among their enemies? That's what the floods are. The floods of discrimination, oppression, hate, exploitation, slavery, prison system, the so-called healthcare system, all that's the floods of your enemies. And what the flood's supposed to do? Drown you, take you out. And that's what Israel feel every day, like we drowning. Sister Patricia, good morning. He said, they compass me about, all thy billows and thy waves pass me over. Jonah, like, man, basically Jonah saying, Lord, I'm going through pure hell. If you don't save me, this gonna take me out. He said, help. Jonah in the belly said, help, help. Shamu got me in here rocking and rolling. Verse 4. Then I said, I am cast out of thy sight. He said, O Lord, yet I will look again toward thy holy temple. You see what Jonah's doing? This is something that our people need to do. But Jonah ain't talking about no physical temple. He not talking about looking towards that standing temple that was in Jerusalem. He talking about the heavenly temple, where the heavenly Father sit, that true temple. And remember, Jesus told us that he was the temple. Y'all remember that? He said, I destroy this temple and I'll raise it up in 3 days. In other words, I'm going to look to you, Lord. I've been cast out. I'm in this darkness. I'm calling to you out of this hell. I will look to only you. Verse 5. Then I said, the waters compass me about, even to the soul. In other words, I'm going to die. The depth closed me round about. The weeds were wrapped around my head. He's letting you know I'm trapped. And the weeds are pulling me down. I can't get free. I'm bound. He says, I went down to the bottoms of the mountains. The earth with her bars was about me forever. He in his prison, that's what he's saying. Yet thou hast brought up my life from corruption. O Lord, my God. In other words, you saved me. You saved me from death. You did the impossible. You resurrected me. That's what he's saying. Because this is all about Christ here. Didn't this happen to Jesus? He was dead for 3 days and 3 nights. Jonah told you he was in the belly's well for 3 days and 3 nights. And so Jesus was dead for 3 days and 3 nights. He had been swallowed up by death for 3 days. But then he was resurrected. He didn't see corruption. He didn't see death. Death couldn't hold him. The grave couldn't hold him. It had to spit him out. And through Jesus' death, Jesus was teaching us, this is what I'm going to do to you, do for you, Israel. I'm going to raise you up out of your spiritual graves and make you to live, make you a nation again. Right now, you are dead. You've been dead in your sins. Instead of living like gods, you died like men. But I will resurrect you. That's Ezekiel 37. And bring you up out of your graves, Israel. You will stand on your feet as my people once again, as my great army. Why y'all think it's a coincidence that our people are waking up and finding out who they are? And that this gospel is starting to spread, this gospel that was intended for the 12 tribes of Israel. You think that's a coincidence? No, that's God's spirit resurrecting us. It's a process, a resurrection of the mind. Okay, so back to Psalms chapter 18, and I'm going to pick it up with verse where I left off at 17. He delivered me from my strong enemy and from them which hated me, for they were too strong for me. They have, these heathens family, they have a military. We don't have a military, a standing army, no one to defend us. They hold all the positions of power. We take orders, we don't give them. They've been stronger than us for a long time. And guess what? He say they hate me. But our people believe their enemies today love them. They hate you, Israel. That's why they do what they do to you. It's 2026 and they still racist. They still evil. They still oppressing. Of course. They hate you. And this is something that we need to teach our children. Stop lying to your children, Israel. Tell them who they dealing with. That Mrs. and Mr. Belvedere hate you because you are God's chosen people, not because you black. We done heard that all our life. They hate you because you black. No, they hate you because you God's people. He says, for they were too strong for me. But you know who they ain't too strong for? Y'all put it in the chat. Your enemies may be too strong for you, but who they ain't too strong for? This is stuff we need to teach our babies. Thank you, Sister Sharon. Love, faith, and hope. That's right. Should keep the mama. That's right. They ain't too strong for God. Ain't nobody stronger than the Lord. But see, that's why David is saying this, because he know that. He's saying, Lord, they too strong for me. They got more numbers. They outnumber me. They got more guns than me, more weaponry. A lot of them smarter than me. They got more money. But that's his way of saying, but they ain't stronger than you, Lord. That's why I'm calling on you. And that's something our people need to understand. Your God is strong, Israel. Verse 18. They prevented me in the day of my calamity. You know what this means? They kicked me when I was down. I'm already suffering going through many troubles, and they come and add fuel to the fire, making my life even more of a living hell than it's already been. No compassion, showing me no mercy. He says, but the Lord was my stay. In other words, and see, this is the key. But the Lord, he took care of me. He been my support. And this is something our people ain't understood. Israel, how you think? Do you seriously think these heathens loved you this much, so much to let you get your own house, your own cars, for you to get jobs, for you and your family to be able to eat and live? No, it was the Lord, family. Even while we amongst our enemies, it has been the Lord taking care of us as a whole, so that we are not annihilated, so that we have not been genocided. God was behind all of that, that we might have some freedom amongst our enemies. That's how we got out of chattel slavery. That's how we got out of Jim Crow. That's how we got through black codes. That's how we've got through everything, because the Lord has been our support. He been the one fighting for us. This is how much the Lord loves our people. Even though we've been a mess, we've been evil, living in our sins, the mercy of God has kept us. Favor, love, because the Lord loves his children. You know, our people need to hear that. They need to know that their God loves them. Our people don't even know. A lot of our people right now, they depressed, destroyed, distraught, simply because they don't know that the God of Jacob loves them. The Lord is the one that brings us through all of this hell we've been through. I praise the God, all heaven and earth, for that. I thank him, and I always thank him on behalf of Israel. I say, Lord, you probably don't hear it enough, but thank you for taking care of us when we've been in the land of our enemies. Only God can do such a thing that he's done for Jacob. Because what sane parent do you know, family? That, because I've seen parents, no matter how bad they children get, they just love them. Now, your mom and daddy, they might be mad for a moment, but baby, they love you. That's my baby, though. She needed to get it together. He need to get it together. Now, he be pissing me off when he be doing that. Now, I have to get on his behind. But that's my baby. And our people really don't believe that the Lord just love us like that. As some of you all the parents, you know how I feel. Children get on your nerves sometimes. Sometimes you have to whoop them. You have to discipline them, but you say, that's still my baby though. Well, that's how the Lord feel about us. He say them black folks that the world hate, that these heathens can't stand, they're my babies. Yeah, but he been thugging and she been stripping, and a lot of them are gay. Just look at them. You know, they act like savages. The Lord said, yeah, but them my babies. And guess what, family? If you give your children into the hands of someone to watch over them while you gone, and then that person or those people beat up on your children while you away, you come back, your baby got a broke arm, busted eye, busted lip. Oh, baby, you gonna lose your mind. You gonna tear something up, cause I know this ain't my baby looking like this. I know you ain't put your hand on my churn. How much more the Lord? You don't think he ain't gonna be furious when he get back here and he see his babies beat up, busted eye, broken lip, broken elbows, skinned up knees, ain't ate, ain't drunk nothing all day long? How you think the Lord gonna tear these heathens up? He gonna tear this beast down in his fury. The Lord gonna see red in that day. That's why I say his eyes was red. Cause he gonna be seeing red. He gonna go straight off. No, you ain't put your hand on my churn. Now I'm gonna have to act a fool. Y'all remember that song DMX did? Y'all gonna make me lose my mind up in here. Y'all gonna make me act a fool. Yeah, we get that from the Lord. We act just like our daddy. As you know, the Lord don't play that. He's good, he's loving and compassionate, but baby, you set him off. You tick him off. And it's going down. Brother Ty, shalom to you. Okay, so anyway, back to Psalms 18 and verse 19. He brought me forth also into a large place. He delivered me because he delighted in me. And this large place for us, family, is going to be the kingdom where there is freedom, where there is peace, where there is love, space and room to live. Because your enemies, what they do is they try to keep you, they restrict you, they restrict your movement, they control you, they limit you, they put curfews on you. And they do this through their laws, through their policies, and through their enforcement of it to keep you restrained. But God wants to take us from that narrow place and put us in a large place where we will be safe. That's that Psalms chapter 23. He leading me by the still waters. He bring me in the green pastures. And Israel, this is what we've been wanting. We've been wanting to go into this large place where there's freedom. Freedom from slavery, freedom from working, laboring, freedom from oppression. He bringing me forth also into a large place. He delivered me. Watch this. Why is the Lord going to deliver us? He delivered me because he what? Delighted in me. Y'all see this, family? He delighted in me. In other words, he loved me. No, Zahar, but it's something we gotta do though. It's it's some works of righteousness that we gotta do though in order for him to deliver. No, he delivered me because he loved me. I called on him and he loved me. And so my daddy came. Like I said, a lot of y'all are parents. And you do what you do for your children simply because you love them. They don't have to perform for you. I just love my child. I'm just gonna buy him these clothes right here, these toys right here. or take them out so they can enjoy themselves and have some fun just because I love them. Well, David is saying it's just the Lord loved me. But it's hard for our people to believe that because we don't get love out here in this world from our enemies. So we say, well, since the world hate us, our enemies, these heathens hate us, then that must mean that the God of Jacob, he don't love us either. That's a lie. It's just like any parent, the Lord has had to punish Israel because we haven't been doing what's right. We haven't been walking in faith and love. And so the Lord has been displeased with our people. And so he had to punish us, just like parents punish their children when they get out of line. But at the end of the day, the parent ain't trying, the same parents ain't trying to kill their children. They're just trying to teach them, discipline them, because they what? Love them. But what I'm saying is, whether the child do right or wrong, that natural love that the parents have for their children will always be there. So what I'm saying is, how much more the Lord? Verse 20. The Lord rewarded me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanliness. Let me read that right. According to the cleanness of my hands, have he recompensed me. Romans chapter 3 and verse 10. So we can understand who this is about. Because he says, the Lord rewarded me according to my righteousness. Verse 10, as it is written. He talking about whether they be Jew or Gentile, whether it be Israel or Judah. He says, as it is written in the law, there is none righteous. Meaning of both houses. None of us, not our ancestors and not us. So we know he ain't talking about us when he talks about according to my righteousness. Because all of us have transgressed the law of God. Every last one of us. 1 John chapter 2 and verse 1. But there is one who is righteous, though. My little children, these things write I unto you, that you sin not. And if any man sin, we have an advocate with the Father, Jesus Christ, the righteous. Y'all see that? So when we go back to Psalms 18, and he talks about he delivered me because he delighted in me. That goes back to when the remember the Father had said from heaven through his angel that this is my son in whom I am well pleased. I mean, I'm delighted in him. But Jesus, none of us are righteous, but Jesus is. And it's in Jesus that we are made righteous. And so the Lord counts the righteousness that comes through Christ as our righteousness. Back to Psalms 18:21, he says, for I have kept the ways of the Lord, and have not wickedly departed from my God. For all his judgments were before me, and I did not put away his statutes from me. Romans 3, back to Romans 3. And I'm going to read verse 12. It says, they are all gone out of the way. So we know that. So we know this is Jesus here. For I have kept the ways of the Lord, because we all went out of the way. They are all gone out of the way. Every Israelite, including your preacher, your elder, your pastor, your deacons, the prophet, the prophetic, the prophetess, the apostle, all of us have gone out of the way. They are together become unprofitable, meaning good for nothing. There is none that doeth good, no, not one. And we went out of what way? The way that was given to us at that time, meaning through the law of Moses. But guess what? Because Jesus kept the ways of the Lord, because he kept that law perfectly, he became our way. Somebody put that in the chat. Jesus is our way. Because he kept the ways, now he is the way, the truth, and the life. All praises to the Most High. Don't you see, family, how much the Lord loves us? He loves us so much that he created, he had us in mind at the beginning, at the foundation of the world. And I'm going to save my children. I love them so much that even if they don't keep my ways, I have another way for them. Don't you see the Lord want y'all to make it? Don't y'all see that he wants you Israelites to rule with him? He has made this thing so easy. That's how much he loves you. That I'll remove the first covenant and usher in the second one. Because I want you to be with me. I want you, I want to be among you, and I want you to be with me ruling. That's how much the Lord loved his people. See, because we wickedly departed from God. The Lord didn't leave us. We ain't just depart. He said we all wickedly departed. See, our people, our ancestors and us, we left God. We forsook him. We abandoned him. He didn't leave us. And even though we left, there he is, just like with the prodigal son, standing there with his arms open, waiting on you Israelites to come home. And when you come home, he ain't gonna beat you over the head with the things you did wrong. He ready with a robe for you, and a ring, a crown. This is what we have to teach our people. This is what they need to hear. Do you not know a lot of our people won't even come to the Lord because they feel so ashamed? He wouldn't accept me. I done did too much. I done did too much wrong. God couldn't love me. I done did too much evil. I'm too far away from him now. And so some of them won't even come. And then you got some Israelites trying to work their way, trying to perform. Well, maybe I can try to make the Lord see how good I am. Let me try to keep his laws. Let me try to keep his statutes and regulations that I already broke. I've already proved I couldn't keep. But see, I'm trying to make the Father proud of me before I come. Cause I ain't quite right yet. So I gotta wait and make him feel proud of me. Then I'll come. Instead of just coming. That's what he been waiting on all Israel to do. If my people who called by my name will humble themselves, seek my face and pray, meaning just come to me, I'll heal them. There's a lot of Israelites out here, family, they're hopeless. But it's our job to bring the hope to them. And when we're walking in the gospel, not just teaching it, but when we actually walking like Christ, we become the vessel that the Lord can use to draw them in, to bring them in. Through loving kindness have I drawn you to myself. Let me see where I stopped at. He says, for all his judgments were before me. I did not put away his statutes from me. In other words, what he's saying is I was faithful. I kept all his law. I was faithful to every dot, to every tittle. I did it all. I didn't slack on anything. Well, we know Israel didn't keep it all. He said, my judgments and my statutes were, again, it was my meditation. It was on my mind. I kept it before me. It was my focus. Faithful. I was dedicated. Now we know this is about Jesus because he had to fulfill the law. The law was for him to fulfill. And by him fulfilling it, he became our righteousness. So this is why when we believe in Jesus, that righteousness is therefore then accounted to us for righteousness. It's simple. Verse 23, I was also upright before him, and I kept myself from mine iniquity. 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 22. This is talking about Jesus, who did no sin. Jesus did no sin. That's that iniquity that he said, I kept myself from mine iniquity. Who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth. Y'all see it? But all of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God, or in other words, his standard that he had gave us at the beginning through Moses. We all fell short. None of us kept it. Verse 24 in Psalms 18. It says, therefore have the Lord recompensed me according to my righteousness. Jesus' righteousness, not ours. according to the cleanness of my hands in his eyesight. In other words, I didn't do no evil in your sight. So that means he talking about even in secret. Not according to the cleanness of my hands in public, while I know everybody watching me. So I play pretend. I play like I'm holy. I play like I'm righteous. No, even in secret where you can see me. Walking clean, pure. Verse 25. With the merciful thou will show you will show yourself merciful. With an upright man you will show yourself upright. With the pure you will show yourself pure, and with the froward you will show yourself froward. In other words, you give people just what they give out. They reap what they sow. You mirror them. You mirror man. If that man's merciful, you gonna be merciful. He upright, you gonna deal with him uprightly. You gonna take care of him. You're gonna keep him. You're going to protect him. You're going to guide and lead him the right way. But if they're forward, you're gonna show yourself forward. Mean you gonna stand to oppose them. You're gonna fight against them. You're going to frustrate them. You're going to trouble them just like they do others. Verse 27. For thou wilt save the afflicted people, but will bring down high looks. Meaning this afflicted people is humble, family. It means humble. Let me go to James. I didn't have it on my paper, but I want y'all to see some. James chapter 4. James chapter 4, and I'm going to read 6, um, 9 and 10. He says, be afflicted and mourn and weep. Let your laughter be turned to mourning and your joy to heaviness. Humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord, and he shall lift you up. Ain't that's what Israel been waiting on, to be lifted up, to be saved, to be rescued from their enemies, to be placed in their own land, to finally have freedom and peace. Well, he said, you got to humble yourself. If my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves, humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord. That's what this afflicted mean. But according to these teachers, when they go over in Leviticus chapter 23 and they're reading about affliction during the Feast of Atonement, feast, even though you eat when you feast, or the Day of Atonement, they say affliction mean fasting. So if affliction means fasting, what does this, let me see. For thou will save the fasting people. No, thou will save the humble people. But you will bring down high looks, or the proud people. People who are proud. They refuse Christ. They refuse to humble themselves in the sight of the Lord. You're going to bring down the self-righteous. The ones that say, I got it, I don't need God. the arrogant. In other words, I'm gonna save the Israelites that's humble. Verse 28, for thou wilt light my candle. The Lord my God will enlighten my darkness. Matthew chapter 4 and verse 16. 15. The land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, by the way of the sea beyond Jordan, Galilee of the Gentiles. The people which sat in darkness, they're talking about spiritual darkness, saw great light. And to them which sat in the region and shadow of death, that's that hell, light is sprung up. And this is spiritual here. And we know this great light is Christ. He is the only one that can give light to the eyes of our people, to their mind, wake them up out of spiritual darkness. In their spiritual prison, in their hell. And you know how light make you feel, family, when you sitting in darkness. You in a dark, enclosed prison cell. You've been in that dark prison cell for days and weeks. And then some light come through. That light represents hope. And that's what our people been looking for. Hope. And this hope comes through Christ. That's what this means over here in verse 28. You will light my candle. You coming to save me. You're my hope. You will enlighten my darkness. You're going to show me which way to go. You're going to guide me because I can't see my way. I need you to help me get out of this. And you're going to help me to see my way out. 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 9. And family, we are that candle. That's what that candlestick represented in that physical temple. You are the candles, Israel. And that light is the light of Christ. 1 Peter 2 and 9, it says, but you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood and holy nation, a peculiar people, that you should show forth the praises of him who have called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. You've been called, you Israelites that have had your candle lit, you was called. You've been called by God. And then he says you've been chosen. This is a good thing. And I like that he say peculiar people. Because we have a lot of Israelites that say, I always just feel so different from other Israelites. I always feel different from my family and friends and everybody. Because, baby, you peculiar. You've been called out. You ain't supposed to be like everybody else. The Lord has lit your candles that you might, your candle that you might show forth his praises. To whom? Your people. Because you serve as an example of being an upright Israelite. You will show our people what the Lord can do through your life. You know, Peter, he gets that from Jesus. Because remember, Jesus said, "Let your light so shine among men." Let's show you Peter was listening. Because he's saying the same thing. And this right here, family, this is also Genesis. So when you're reading it, Genesis about, and there was darkness on the face of the water, on the face of the deep. And then there was this light. There was a light that shined out of that darkness. That was talking about this. That was a shadow. But this is the key word, show. Show. So us Israelites that um have had our candle lit, our people supposed to see a difference. They supposed to see the royalty. They supposed to see a difference. They supposed to see holiness. See that? Through you. Because you know one thing I learned about Israel, they copy what they see. And the Lord know that. He know how powerful and influential you can be. When they see you, Israel want to be just like you. And that's how it should be with you. Just like we want to be like Christ. That's why Peter also tells you later to be ready when they do see how you live, when they do see how you're blessed by God and how He keep you, and they come ask you about your faith. He say, be ready. Have an answer. Because Israel gonna see you. That means we being watched. They ain't listening to what we say. They watching us. And that's how the priests under the order of Melchizedek, that's how we light the candles. Under the order of Aaron, they went in the temple and they would light the candlestick physically. But we light the candles through our lifestyle. That's how we light up the other candlesticks of other Israelites who are in darkness. And how do we light it? Through love. Our lifestyle of faith and love is how we light those candlesticks. But anyway, Psalms 18 and verse 29. He says, "For by thee I have run through a troop." In other words, Lord, you done empowered me. I went from sitting in darkness. Now my candle has been lit. You have empowered me, and now I can run through a troop, meaning I can do the impossible. You got me out here doing I'm a superhero now. I'm running through a troop just like Samson would run through the Philistines. The Spirit of the Lord is on me. You've empowered me to overcome my enemies. And by my God, not by my own strength, because I ain't have none. Not by my own might, not by my own wisdom, but by my God have I leaped over a wall. That wall that kept me restricted. That wall of oppression. That wall of distress and trouble. I done leaped over that joker now. And this wall, family, and this troop, because he's referring to war. And y'all gotta remember this wall he talking about. Those were those walls that used to be around the castle. You know how high them things was? In other words, I can do again the impossible. That's why I say, family, your enemy is gonna be in trouble. What good is your troop, your militaries gonna do you? And what good is their wall, their security, they safe places where they think they safe? What good they gonna do you when the Lord empowers Jacob again? Now see, in Jericho, the Lord had our ancestors walk around the walls of Jericho. Y'all remember that? And then he said on the seventh day, you're gonna let out a shout, and the walls gonna come down. Well, this time, Israel, you're gonna leap over the wall. You ain't gonna shout the wall down, you're gonna leap over it. And this ain't even just physical warfare, but also spiritual warfare. Your enemies thought they had you. That troop, in a troop, that's like a squad. That in a troop, that's more than one man. That's you outnumbered. But with God, just you and God is enough. Verse 30. As for God, his way is perfect. And who is the way, family? When he say his way is perfect, who is the way? If y'all can, put it in the chat. Because you know a lot of Israelites will read this and the first place their mind is go, oh, he's talking about the law, the letter of the law. And we know the Lord's law is perfect. We know that. But that law, that letter was speaking of someone. It was a physical representation of someone. Thank you, family, Christ. So when he say, as for God, his way is perfect, he talking about Jesus. And then Jesus told us what we needed to do to be perfect. And he said, believe on him. And a lot of our people they can't believe that or wrap their head around. No, it's gotta be something more. No, Jesus said, no, believe on me and you be perfect. I'll make you perfect. I'll make you righteous. His way is perfect. The word of the Lord is tried. You know what that mean, family? That mean the word of the Lord is tried and true. And how was it tried? In other words, all you got to do is go back and read the stories of our ancestors who came before that put their trust in the Lord. And you seen how time and time again the Lord delivered them, took care of them, rescued them, fed them, guided them. In other words, through their stories, we know he's faithful. His word, he make good on his word. He ain't like man. And many of us have experienced his word in our own life, that he do what he say he gonna do. Thank you, Sister Judy. Proven. That's right. So the Lord ain't got to prove nothing. He's left many witnesses for us to see. He did it with Job. He did it with Joseph. He did it with our ancestors in Egypt. He did it with Mordecai, Hadassah, and our ancestors in that day under Persia. He has a proven track record, meaning you can depend on him. He is a buckler to all those that trust in him. And as I told y'all last week, that buckler was a small shield that soldiers used to wear on their forearm in the ancient days when they did battle. In the other arm and in the other hand, they would be wielding a sword. And that was for defense. So, in other words, God is our defender. He defends all that put their trust or have that faith in him. Verse 31, for who is God save the Lord? Or who is a rock save our God? And we found out last week that this rock is Christ. In other words, who's strong as our God? Because our people have learned about a lot of these other gods among these nations. All these so-called gods. He say ain't no God like ours. Who deliver like our God? Who rescue like our God? And family, in my own life, I find myself saying this constantly to the Lord. Ain't nobody like you. Don't nobody do it like you. Nobody come through and show up and save like you do. Verse 32. It is good. It is, it is God that girdeth me with strength and maketh my way perfect. It is who? God. I don't have enough strength. I'm not smart enough. I'm not wise enough. I'm not quick enough, but my God girdeth me with strength and maketh my way perfect. He give me strength. Why? Because family, sometimes the things we go through make us tired. It exhausts us mentally, physically, emotionally, where we be on our last leg, right on the edge, but God come through and he give us that second wind we need. That's why a lot of y'all ain't gave up yet. You always wonder, I'm still, everything I go through though, I'm still getting, because it's God. It's the Lord day after day giving you that strength to get up and continue to face adversity. Face off with your challenges. And he made my way perfect. In other words, he showed me which way to go. Because oftentimes I don't know which way to go. Now, if you listen to the language, family, of what he's saying, running through a troop, leaping over a wall, and he girded me with strength. That means the Lord wants you to fight. Yeah, he wants you to fight back. You know how your mom and them used to tell you, you was at school and somebody might have been messing with you. Then you go home and you say, "Man, mom and daddy, this person keep bothering me. They keep messing with me." And they say, "Well, next time they do this, punch them in the nose, push them down." Well, that's what the Lord want us to do, because he teaching us something. And he gonna tell us here in verse 34. Now, that don't mean go put your hand on your physical enemies, family. He got that day reserved for when Christ come back. Then we gonna put hands on our enemies physically. But he talking about here about spiritual warfare. Verse 33, he maketh my feet like hinds feet, and setteth me upon my high places. And that those hinds feet, family, is they're like those that deer feet. And y'all see how graceful, and how nimble and how quick deers are. He say you make it like that with in other words, you make life is easy for me. And then he said on high places. Y'all ever seen a deer running up in the mountains, running in rocky places, and they should fall because they be running up steep places, cutting the corners, but they do it so graciously. He say, you do that like that for me. In other words, it get to a place where um with me when it come to dealing with my enemies, it's like it's just easy. I do it with gracefulness. Yes, that's right, Sister Judy. Thank you. With speed, because the deers are quick. And those high places, family, for us is who? It's the Lord. The Lord is our high place. He's our place of safety. He's our fortress. And we can run to him. And he will fight for us. And that's why, family, I don't know if you notice when you deal with your enemies, they always wonder why you're so calm, so laid back. They be trying to get you all bothered, irritate you, get on your nerves, trying to get you out of character. But nothing ever worked. But instead, you gracefully continue to serve the Lord like it ain't nothing, like ain't nothing going on. Still walking in love, still walking in faith. And from their eyesight, they say she just do it. She just suffer graciously. She put up with us gracefully. Just make it look easy. Verse 34. He teacheth my hands to war, so that a bow of steel is broken by my arms. You see that, family? He teach my hands to war, but what war? He's talking about spiritual warfare. So the Lord have to teach you how to do spiritual battle, and in order to teach you, he have to let you get tried. That's how he teaches you. He teaches you in the midst of the battle. That's how you learn. See, our God is a hands-on God. He don't like to just tell us. He actually let us get experience. And that's how we learn in the battle. It's in the battle where we learn how to call on the Lord. It's in the battle that we learn not to do tit for tat, evil for evil, reviling for reviling. It's in the battle that we learn to be still and know that he is God. It is in the battle where we learn to wait on the Lord. That's where we learn it at. It's in the battle where we learn how to pray. When we declare war on Satan and his children in the battle. Judges chapter 3. That's why, family, when you in your battle, when you in your time of testing, don't run. The Lord trying to teach you something. I mean, do we want to suffer? No. But don't run. Trust God. Let me show y'all. Judges chapter 3 and verse 1. Now these are the nations which the Lord left. So why did the nations stay in Canaan? The ones he let, the ones that were left, because the Lord let them stay. But why? To prove Israel, Wait a minute, to what? To try them? To test them? Mm. To prove Israel by them. By who? The nations. So the Lord left the nations to try Israel. Mm. Just like he doing today while we amongst our enemies. He used our enemies. It ain't the other way around, family. The Lord uses these nations. We need to understand that. Because our people think that somehow these nations, as they've been taught, is, they somehow strong on their own, or they got some sort of autonomy. Because our people look at these people like they gods, they smart, they strong. No, God, baby. To prove Israel by them, even as many of Israel as had not known all the wars of Canaan. So he left them for that generation of Israel that didn't know nothing about the battle. They don't know nothing about war. So I'm gonna let these nations try you. I'm gonna let them get on your nerves, oppress you, persecute you, so I can teach you. Verse 2, only that the generations of the children of Israel might know to teach them what? War. Then we just read that over here. He teacheth my hands to war. And why wouldn't he? God told you that I am a man of war. He said that in Exodus. He said the Lord is a man of war. So guess what he want his children to know? War. So he gonna teach his children how to war. To teach them war at the least such as before knew nothing thereof. Because they're inexperienced. They don't know nothing about war. Even many of us today, family, um we don't know how it was in chattel slavery, Jim Crow, that our ancestors fought those battles. Our ancestors fought in those wars. But this new generation of Israelites, they don't know nothing about that. They don't know what that's like, black codes. That was the wars they fought. And through those wars, they learned a lot of things. And many of them, not all, but many of them came to the faith of God because of it. They called out on God. They cried. They trusted in him. But this new generation of Israelites don't really know these wars. That's why a lot of our people are weak. But I ain't gonna get deep. But this family, this war here that the Lord is teaching us is spiritual warfare. Because then you have a lot of Israelites, they know how to fight physically, mainly each other, but they know how to fight. They know how to run that mouth, cuss people out, go grab that gun, but them same ones don't know how to do spiritual battle. That's why when many of those types of Israelites come to the Lord, they struggle the most in spiritual warfare. Because now they realize in this fight, you can't rely on the physical. That was something that Peter struggled with. Peter ready to get in somebody's face by the Lord. And it was good that he loved the Lord, but he had to learn from the Lord that, Peter, this ain't physical. You done cut the man ear off with the sword. Put your sword up. This is a spiritual fight. And we know the apostle, he ended up learning that it's spiritual warfare. And at Israel's church family, this is what we're teaching y'all. We're teaching you all how to war. 2 Corinthians 10 and verse 3. It says, "For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war." Y'all see it? We do not war after the flesh, because it's a spiritual battle. Verse 4, "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations, every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity." Because remember, in physical war, they would, when they would kill the men of the city or that nation, they would take the wives, the children, and as slaves, captives, just like us, right? We were taken captive by our enemies, bringing into captivity what though? Every thought to the obedience of Christ. So this is the spiritual war that we're battling. The spiritual war that we're in. Remember, Peter said in another place about how he was talking about the fleshly lust that war against our souls. War. Now you know a war is brutal. It's bloody. It's vicious. So in other words, your enemy, your spiritual enemies, Satan and those evil angels, are trying to take you out. And things like lust, your enemies, your physical enemies, they will use to try to take you out. They have many of their own weapons of warfare. And so this is why it's important that we put on the whole armor of God. We be girded, as David said here, with God's strength. His strength is his word. Verse 35. "Thou hast also given me the shield of thy salvation, and thy right hand have holden me up, and thy gentleness have made me great." And we know this salvation is Christ. And we know this shield again is protection. So you have given me Christ as my protector, as my deliverer. He says, "in thy right hand," and we know Jesus sits at the right hand of God. So we know that this is Christ. In other words, he's the power that keeps me held up, keep me from falling, keep me from being destroyed. And he says, "your gentleness have made me great." In other words, your love. It was your love for me that has exalted me and brought me to power. Not because I did anything righteous, but because of your love. Verse 36, thou hast enlarged my steps under me and overtaken them. Oh, y'all, I done skipped a whole nother verse in the middle of me reading one, because sometimes I'm trying to look at what I wrote in my notes and then I'm trying to read the scripture at the same time. But anyway, thou hast enlarged my steps under me, that my feet did not slip. I have pursued my enemies and overtaken them. I didn't just defeat them, I dominated them. I went after my enemies. Neither did I turn again until they were consumed. And we know Christ is going to do all of this. He's going to crush our enemies totally. It'll be a total defeat. In Revelation, he tells you an hour. It don't take that long. Neither did I turn again till they were consumed. I have wounded them that they were not able to rise. They are fallen under my feet. Now they are, when he say fallen under my feet, that means not only have I defeated them, but now they are subject to my rule. They are my subjects now. They got to obey me now. I'm in charge. This is a new sheriff in town. They can't rise because I defeated all they militaries, all they great men. Now I'm in charge. And they do what I say. Because you know, family, when he say under my feet too, he's referring, remember the Lord said the earth is my footstool. And you know what a footstool does is it holds up the feet. Well, that's what the nation's going to do for the body of Christ. They're going to hold us up. They're going to work for us. They're going to labor for us. We going to be the boss. That's right. We the boss in that. We going to be the boss in that day through Christ. Verse 39, for thou hast girded me with strength unto the battle. Thou hast subdued under me those that rose up against me. That's right. So not only the nations, our enemies of the other nations, but also Israelites who are also my enemies, who refused Christ. They rejected the Lord. They rejected his way. And they followed after the beast. He said, I'm going to subdue them too. Yes, I like that. Sister Judy, you coming through here. I like this. Prop you up. That's right. You're going to prop me up in that day. Verse 40, thou hast also given me the necks of mine enemies, that I might destroy them that hate me. And those necks, family, are connected to the neck holds up the head. And what's on the head, on the nation's head? Crowns. Those necks represent the men at the top of these nations, the rulers, the elite, the ruling class. He's saying, I'm going to destroy them. When you get a joker by their throat, they can't breathe. Nothing. You control them when you grab them by that neck. that I might destroy them that hate me. Genesis chapter 49. Genesis 49 and verse 8. It says, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. And this here family is prophetic about Christ, because Christ is of the house of Judah. And it is Christ whose hand shall be in the neck of his enemies. And if Christ himself, his hand's going to be in um, their neck, then he's also talking to the body of Christ. And we are the body of Christ. He says, thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Meaning of all 12 tribes, all 12 tribes are going to bow down. And why? Because Christ is king. That's why. That's why they going to bow. The same ones that reject Christ. Just like Joseph's brothers tried to get rid of Joseph because they refused his reign when they heard his dream. You ain't going to be ruling over us and daddy and mama. But in the end, those same brothers bowed before Joseph. That was a shadow of Jesus and the children of Israel. You gonna get on them knees and you gonna say, this is he. You gonna bow right on over. Y'all remember that movie Lion King? Whenever Mufasa or Simba, they would come out and all of the animals would just throw themselves down and bow. Revelation 19 and 12. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. And he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. So on Christ's head are many crowns, meaning he has defeated the rulers of all the nations. It's just symbolic that he's in charge now. They were in charge, but now he and the children of Israel are in charge. We gonna give the orders. We ain't gonna take them no more. So this means that Christ has conquered the other nations. And like I told y'all, those crowns come off the heads of these ruling nations, and attached to that head is that what? That neck. The head is held up by the necks. So that's what he means. I'm going to conquer them. And I'm going to do what? I'm going to destroy them. Somebody please tell our black Christian brothers and sisters this. I'm going to destroy them that hate me. You won't hear that in church. No, we got to pray for our enemies. Pray for them. But yet David is saying here, I pursued my enemies, overtaking them, destroying them. Our people were given a gospel of subservience. That's not the true gospel. The gospel of Christ is a gospel of justice, liberation, and freedom from our enemies. The gospel is all about our people going to be ruling in the kingdom to come, not being ruled over or ruling with our enemies, but ruling over them. I know that hurt a lot of coon feelings, boy. But they just gonna have to hurt. Okay, so back to Psalms 18 and verse 41. They cried, but there was none to save them, even unto the Lord, but he answered them not. They gonna cry out, but ain't nobody gonna save them, just like we cried out. We cried out to them, stop the injustice, stop the killing, stop the murdering us, keeping us poor, putting guns in our neighborhood, putting drugs in our neighborhoods, gentrifying us. Everything we cried out for, but they ain't hear us. So in that day, guess what? The Lord ain't gonna hear y'all. And he's saying ain't nobody gonna save you. He ain't gonna answer them. Verse 42. Then did I beat them small as the dust before the wind. I did cast them out as dirt in the streets. I ran through them. Total domination. I beat them down. That's what he's saying. I beat them down to the ground. 43. Thou hast delivered me from the strivings of the people, and thou hast made me the head of the heathen. A people whom I have not known shall serve me. And there's a double meaning in this particular verse here. But I'm looking at it from the perspective of the Lord dealing with our enemies of the other nations. He's going to become head over them. Just like right now, they are rulers over us. And so if the Lord is going to be head over the heathen, guess what? We are too. Because we are Christ's body. And what are they going to do? They're going to serve. Serve. Just like right now, we're serving the heathens. Well, when Christ comes to power, and the children of Israel come to power, the Lord gonna flip that thing. They gonna serve. They gonna know what it's like to be in a system where you are told what to do. And if you don't do it, we got something for you. Verse 44. As soon as they hear of me, they shall obey me. The strangers shall submit themselves unto me. In other words, they gonna hear about what I can do in battle. They gonna hear about how mighty, how I crushed their militaries, how I just destroyed them easily, just like that. And they gonna know, they gonna submit quickly. They gonna obey me. But the nations won't do it, family, without them getting beat down. They gotta get beat down. They got to see and feel the fury of our mighty God. And they will submit. This is written here. You, like I said, these preachers, they ain't gonna read this to y'all in church. The strangers shall fade away and be afraid out of their close places. Daniel chapter 7. Almost there, family. I said I was going to go ahead and just try to finish this out. Daniel 7 and verse 14. It says, and there was given him dominion, glory, and a kingdom, that all people, nations, languages should what? Serve him. Serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. Now I'm going to jump down to verse 27. Because remember, I told y'all that we are the body of Christ. So this isn't just, about Christ himself, but about the people of Jesus. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. Y'all see this? So guess what? If they're going to serve and obey Christ, what does that mean for his body? That they're going to serve and obey you, Israel. This is what these nations don't want y'all to know. This is why they mad at y'all. This is why Satan is mad and they mad. Because they got to serve, obey. And they're going to do it. It's written. It don't matter what it look like right now. And it don't matter who tell lies and who try to cover up the truth. Hey, it's going to come to pass. Isaiah 60 and verse 12. And the nations that don't want to serve us, that will not obey, the Lord going to tell you what's going to happen to that nation. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve, they refuse. We used to rule over these black people. Now we got to serve them. Now we'll never do it. That will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. Come on now. This is Bible. So in that day when we come to power, with Christ being our head, he's saying whichever nation will not do what you say, Israel, they gonna perish. Just like right now under these heathens. Whatever nations and countries don't do what they say, don't they go to war with them and destroy them? Well, it's going to happen to them. You reap what you sow. Okay, so back to Psalms 18. I'm going to finish it out. Verses 46 through 50. The Lord liveth, and blessed be my rock. And I like that he say the Lord liveth, because your enemies, they do the evil that they do because they don't believe he's really alive. They don't believe that he really exists to do any of this. But he say, no, my Lord is alive and well, and he's kept score. He tracking everything. He got it all documented. All the evil you done against me, and he gonna visit you in your day. He ain't fake like your gods, because your gods are made up. But my God is for real. And you gonna know in that day when he visits you. And he says, and blessed be my rock. And let the God of my salvation be exalted. And how is he gonna be exalted? When he come rescue you. When he deliver you and he show you his might. It is God that avengeth me and subdueth the people under me. It's God that's going to get the payback. Remember the Apostle Paul spoke about that in Romans chapter 12, about how the Lord gets vengeance. This is something Israel need to understand. It's our God that's going to avenge. To avenge means he's going to make right the wrongs that was done to me even in the past. So not only what my enemies putting me through today, but also the things that they've already done to me. That's why he said avengeth. That lets you know God don't forget, baby. He gonna get even for all that evil that was done to our people, and subdueth the people under me. And not only that, then he gonna subdue them. I'm gonna have dominion over. I'm gonna rule them. I'm gonna control them. I'm gonna tell them what to do. He says, under me, Israel, under, not with me, not we holding hands in the kingdom, not we all equal. Under, under, under. And the Lord has always spoken like this to our people. I shall put you above all nations. I will make you the head and not the what? Tail. The tail is under, under. They're going to be under you, Israel. He delivereth me from mine enemies. Yeah, thou liftest me up. Thou liftest me up above, above those that rise up against me. Thou hast delivered me from the violent man. And he called your enemies violent. And that's something that our people have always said, man, you know, these heathens, they so violent. They violently kill us. They violently lie on us. They violently put us in the prison. Because they violently telling you the nature of this beast. Violent. But hey, like I said earlier, just like I said earlier when I said, but they're not too strong for the Lord. They ain't more violent than God. They may be violent with us, but ain't nobody more violent than the God of Jacob. And remember, he said to the froward, you will show yourself froward. So they violent, the Lord gonna deal with them with violence. And they gonna know some real violence. They gonna say this is some real violence here. Because our enemies, they love violence. They love anything violent. That's why they show it in their movies. The person can't just get shot, you know, and just go down. They get shot, their blood be splattering there where their guts be on the ground. Their head busts open like a watermelon because they love that violence. They'll hang you and eat around you while you hanging. But the Lord said, I got some violence for them. Verse 49. Therefore will I give thanks unto thee, O Lord, among the heathen, and sing praises unto thy name. I'm going to give thanks while I'm in these nations. And how do I give my thanks? By my lifestyle, by following you, trusting in you. Not I'm going to try to go get heathen, not I'm going to try to go get even. I'm going to go tit for tat. I'm going to show out. I'm going to be doing the things the beasts do. I'm going to be giving you thanks because you the one going to fight for me and avenge me. Great deliverance. Oh, and I was going to say that too. If he giving thanks, he's showing his faith right here. Because in other words, he's saying, Lord, I already know I got the victory. I already know I got the victory. That's why I'm giving you thanks ahead of time. Great deliverance giveth he to his king, and showeth mercy to his anointed, to David and to his seed forevermore. And we know that he's talking about Christ here. Great deliverance he will give to who? Christ. And showeth mercy to his anointed, Christ, and by extension, his body, the saints, who is his seed. He says, what? Forever. And this mercy that he gonna show us is what? Finally, freedom, peace, liberation, a kingdom to rule. It's gonna be all for us. It ain't gonna be nothing Satan, the devil, and his children are gonna be able to do about it. All right, family, I'm gonna go ahead and stop there. I hope you all got understanding. I did my best to kind of get through that. The Psalms is it can be a little tricky to teach because it's just so much meat in it, and I can only say so much. But I try to teach y'all what I can, so you can do your own due diligence. So that's all I'm gonna say, family. I hope that you all enjoy. Have a good rest of your day. Continue to walk in faith and in love. Pray for one another. All right. Until next time, family, I